Good afternoon from Bangkok. Welcome to our APEC SOM1 virtual media conference. I hope you all can hear me. I am Thani Sangrat, Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Thailand spokesperson. I will be your moderator for today. First of all, I want to extend a warm welcome to all media participants who are joining us virtually from across the region. It's really great to have you all. As Thailand hosts APEC 2022 this year, our priorities can be explained in 3 words that you all are all aware: open, connect, balance. That's to say, we will make APEC open to all opportunities, connect in all dimensions, balance in all aspects. And equally important, we also adopted the Biocircular Green Economy, or BCG, model as a way forward to achieve sustainability and inclusive growth. This year, Thailand as a host of economy, will work closely with APEC member economies to turn our discussions into tangible outcomes. Today is your opportunity for all the media to discuss and ask questions about Thailand's priorities and objectives for our host year. First of all, I would like to introduce our speakers. Mr. Thani Thongpakdi, Permanent Secretary for Foreign Affairs of Thailand and APEC 2022 SOM Chair, who is also on the screen. We also have Dr. Rebecca Star-Maria, APEC Secretariat Executive Director, who will be joining us virtually from Singapore. Let me give you, hello, Sawadee Krap. Let me give you a brief overview about what we are doing today. Both of our speakers will share short remarks on important takeaways from our first SOM, our priorities, our cooperation, and then we'll have time for your questions. And we have about half an hour for Q&A. For our media participants, if you would like to submit a question as part of this media event, you have 2 options. One, you can send your question through a chat box that you can see on our screen, and you can send it from now until the end of the conference. Or your second option would be to click a raise hand button at the top to raise your hand during the Q&A session, and I'll reach you directly for your question on the screen. When asking questions, please unmute yourself when I call on you, and if you can keep your cameras on, and so we can see you on our screen. And please tell us your name, your media organization, and what you would like to ask, and then remute yourself after asking the question. In case we don't get to your question in time, the APEC media team will follow up with you, and after the event, we'll have information that you have requested. So we're all on board and ready for our first press conference. Let's get started with a short video to explore what APEC Thailand 2022 has prepared for you this year.
กว่า 33 ปี APEC ไม่เคยหยุดพัฒนาเพื่ออนาคตเศรษฐกิจที่เปิดกว้างเชื่อมโยงและสมดุล
ไม่หยุดเปิดรับโอกาสใหม่ๆเพื่อช่วยผลักดันการค้าการลงทุนไปสู่ระดับโลก
ไม่หยุดเปิดรับนวัตกรรมใหม่ๆเพื่อเพิ่มผลผลิตและสร้างความยั่งยืน
ไม่หยุดเปิดสู่การค้ารูปแบบใหม่เพื่อปรับตัวไปกับความเปลี่ยนแปลง
ไม่หยุดเชื่อมต่อเพื่อเชื่อมโยงภูมิภาคเข้าหากันและปลดล็อกศักยภาพที่ไร้ขีดจำกัด
ไม่หยุดเชื่อมโยงโอกาสใหม่ๆกับวิถีชีวิตแบบใหม่
ไม่หยุดเชื่อมโยงดิจิทัลให้ครอบคลุมทุกพื้นที่เพื่อสร้างความเติบโตที่ยั่งยืน
ไม่หยุดเชื่อมโยงเทคโนโลยีเพื่อสุขภาวะที่ดีและเศรษฐกิจที่ก้าวไปข้างหน้า
ไม่หยุดคิดค้นนวัตกรรมแปรรูปอาหารเพื่อลดขยะ
ไม่หยุดคิดค้นนวัตกรรมเพื่อสร้างสมดุลให้อนาคตที่ยั่งยืนของพวกเรา
เพราะเราไม่เคยหยุดมุ่งมั่นเพื่อวันข้างหน้าที่ดีวันนี้เราจึงพร้อมเปิดกว้างทุกโอกาสเชื่อมโยงในทุกมิติ และสร้างสมดุลในทุกด้าน
So that is a glimpse of how APEC Thailand 2022 is going to bring us to this year. Now let's hear from our first speaker, Mr. Thani Thongpakdi, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and our APEC 2022 SOM Chair. Please, sir, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Kuntani, and greetings to all members of the media, Rebecca, Edie, and ladies and gentlemen. Let me start my briefing by providing you with a contextual outlook or outline of APEC 2022. As Thailand started our host year, we were entering into our third year of COVID-19. Economic recovery has become a matter of utmost urgency for all our economies. Many of us are seeking to reopen borders and return to business as usual. But the pandemic taught us a lesson that we must embrace inclusiveness and sustainability in our growth strategy, balancing between health, the economy, and the environment. As host of APEC 2022, Thailand aims to put Asia Pacific on a long-term growth trajectory that is resilient, inclusive, balanced, and sustainable, as outlined in the Putrajaya Vision 2040. The theme for APEC 22 is therefore open, connect, and balance, embracing the bio-circular green economy, or BCG, as the overarching thinking. The BCG economy model integrates and synergizes three widely accepted economic approaches, where technology and innovation are used to create value, reduce waste, and promote a sustainable business model. Allow me to briefly elaborate on what our themes encompasses. Open is to be open to all trade and investment opportunities. We see opportunities to advance APEC's core interests of open trade and investment, but through the post-COVID-19 lens to make sure we seize new opportunities while addressing emerging challenges. To connect is to enhance connectivity in all dimensions. We recognize that to jumpstart our economic recovery from the pandemic, we must act quickly to resume safe and seamless cross-border travel and reconnect the region. While balance is to transform our economies towards inclusive and sustainable development, we view that our region can no longer pursue growth for the sake of growth itself, but we need to address the existing inequalities and imbalances as well. These are our three key priorities as we kicked off our first APEC senior officials meeting, or SOM1, and related meetings during the past couple of weeks. During the last fortnight, APEC delegates and subject matter experts met in around 30 working group meetings, joint meetings, and seminars, covering a wide range of issues from regional economic integration, digital economy, restoring connectivity, sustainable finance, to women economic empowerment, waste management, and food security. I would like to share with you some key takeaways and a few steps leading up to upcoming meetings. On advancing APEC's trade and investment, Thailand proposes that APEC should reassess our post-COVID-19 economic landscape and discuss how we will be able to move forward to deepen regional economic integration. The global context today looks very different from when APEC leaders initiated the conversation on the free trade area of the Asia Pacific, or FTAP, in 2006, prompting us to revisit our FTAP agenda to ensure its relevancy. SOM1 kickstarted a refreshed conversation on FTAP by seeking APEC member economies' views on what a future FTAP should look like in the post-COVID-19 economic landscape, and how APEC can help shape FTAP into a new generation free trade agreement that goes beyond trade and investment, but also contributes to robust, inclusive, and sustainable economic growth. Our goal is to take stock of what new and emerging trade issues FTAP should incorporate drawing upon lessons learned from COVID-19, be they health, environment, or digitalization. The discussion initiated during SOM1 has laid the groundwork for further in-depth discussion, building towards a private-public dialogue between the APEC ministers responsible for trade and business leaders under APEC Business Advisory Council, or APEC, before the ministers meet in May, in the lead-up to the 12th WTO Ministerial Conference in June. Next, on reconnecting the region, cross-border restrictions imposed in response to the pandemic have tremendously impacted our economies, particularly the travel and tourism industries. SOM1 put great effort in reinvigorating these sectors to accelerate our economic recovery. I would like to highlight the work of a dedicated APEC Safe Passages Task Force to coordinate the safe and seamless resumption of cross-border travel in the region. APEC senior officials discussed a good number of proposals submitted by member economies, covering issues such as interoperability of vaccine certificates, safe and sustainable tourism, and broadening the scope of the APEC Business Travel Card Scheme. Thailand chaired the inaugural Safe Passage Task Force meeting on the 21st of February to set the direction for APEC to move forward. We plan to work on actionable proposals to achieve something concrete in a short time, aiming to deliver outcomes by the ministers responsible for trade meeting in May. At the same time, we will take a closer look at proposals to ensure long-term resilience in our travels and enhance business mobility in the APEC region. We recognize the urgency of this issue as economies are starting to reopen, and will work intersectionally towards tangible and practical outcomes for our people and businesses. SOM1 also discussed enhancing digital economy and digital connectivity in the region. Digital technology plays a crucial role in promoting trade and investment and bridging the digital divide. As part of APEC's tradition and in collaboration with Google, Thailand will organize the APEC App Challenge, where young developers from across the APEC region will be invited to develop software solutions embracing the BCG economy model to support MSMEs. The program will open for application early March, and information will be available on the APEC 2022 website. Lastly, on promoting balanced, sustainable, and inclusive development, our proposal is due to develop the Bangkok Goals on the BCG economy, which will be a standalone APEC leaders document which collates existing relevant APEC commitments and work streams together in a comprehensive and encompassing manner to help drive and accelerate APEC's work towards balanced, inclusive, and sustainable growth. During SOM1, APEC member economies exchanged views on the possible key elements, scope, and structure of the Bangkok Goals, and agreed on the timeliness of this discussion in APEC. Thailand also hosted a policy dialogue to deepen understanding of the BCG on the 22nd of February as a post-pandemic strategy for quality growth, where member economies exchanged concrete experiences and best practices and explored how APEC can leverage BCG to advance its work on sustainability. The policy dialogue demonstrated the BCG economy is not a new concept for APEC, as many member economies are already implementing its core components in varying degrees and forms. The conversation will continue in future SOM meetings as we plan to conclude and have the final draft ready in time before the APEC Economic Leaders meeting in November. To wrap up, I believe SOM1 has moved us closer to our goalposts of achieving APEC Thailand 2022's key deliverables. Next on our notional calendar is the Finance and Central Bank Deputies meeting on the 16th to 17th of March in a virtual format. For SOM2, preparations are well underway for a fully physical meeting. I look forward to welcome APEC delegates and senior officials at SOM2 during the 9th to 19th of May in Bangkok. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Thani Thongpakdi, for a very comprehensive briefing. We shall continue with the briefing from the APEC Secretariat, Executive Director, Dr. Rebecca Stamaria, who will give us her viewpoints on APEC's vision and cooperation.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, SOM Chair and members of the media. Happy to have all of you join us again. This year is an important year for APEC. As you heard Kuntani explaining all the initiatives that we have, a very ambitious agenda for the year. More importantly is to see how this year we will see the continuation of the work that we've done the last couple of years. In 2020, we successfully drew up the new vision for APEC, and that's the APEC Putrajaya Vision 2040. And last year, we worked collectively to come up with a work program, the Aotearoa Plan of Action, because a vision without action is meaningless. So, and someone said a vision without action is a dream. So last year, the group worked very hard to ensure that we put in place a very solid plan of action. And this year, under Thai stewardship, we will see us beginning the implementation of this plan. And key to that implementation of the plan is the focus on inclusive growth, on keeping our markets open, on focusing on the digital economy, and more specifically, at the end of the day, bottom line is how do all these initiatives and efforts benefit the average person? And I think that is the conversation that we will continue to have and throughout the year and under the able stewardship of Thailand. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your summary, Dr. Rebecca. Before we hear from our media participants from around the world and in the region for the Q&A, let me remind our viewers and our audience that we also have the diplomatic corps who are based in Bangkok as well. And we already have our first question from the Embassy of Korea right here in Bangkok. The question is about the date of the APEC Economic Leaders Summit in November. Would we be able to confirm it or as that it's November 18th to 19th at the Queen Sirikit National Convention Center? Yes, sir.
Yes, actually, if you look up the official APEC 2022 website, it's already been uploaded there. The leaders themselves will meet on the 18th and 19th of November, but that will be preceded by senior officials meetings and the ministers meetings, I think starting from the 14th.
Thank you so much, Mr. SOM Chair. We invite for additional questions from the media or from the diplomatic corps. You can either type or you can just raise your hand with the button. Questions, ladies and gentlemen? I'm ready to wrap this up. Well, we have one question which already been answered. So thank you for your questions, and we'll have more upcoming APEC meetings and events throughout Thailand's host year. Our second senior officials and related meetings will be held between the 9th and the 19th of May 2022 in Bangkok. And we look forward to have you all here with us in Thailand physically when the COVID-19 situation gets better. So that is all we have for today. Thank you so much, Mr. SOM Chair and the Executive Director, for your time, and for all of the media participants. And I'll see you again. Thank you and สวัสดีครับ
Thank you. สวัสดีครับ
สวัสดีค่ะ. As we move on and return to normalcy, we look forward to welcoming you to Thailand. To New Zealand 2021 APEC host, you have joined us together to overcome unprecedented challenges. ขอบคุณค่ะ The pandemic has revealed imbalances in the way we live, do business, and treat our planet. We must do better for a better future. Together, we can increase regional economic integration and shape the world's future to build a more open, connected, and balanced world for future generations. We are an inclusive economy open to trade and investment, open for business, open to new ideas, always evolving and ready for what's next. As one, we open. We are advancing digital economy, creating new platforms for growth, unlocking limitless potential. We are building an economy of trust and bringing people together across the Asia-Pacific region and beyond. As one, we connect. We are striving for balanced prosperity for everyone and businesses of all sizes, working to live in harmony with nature and optimize resources. Thailand is focusing on synergizing bio, circular, and green economy, shifting to renewable energy and innovations for sustainable food systems, cutting emissions and efficiently managing our waste. As one, we balance. On the road ahead, many challenges await. We must do it together to build a balanced and sustainable ecosystem for future generations that leaves no one behind. APEC has proven resilient and overcome enormous challenges. We have a Thai saying which captures the spirit of our cooperation. น้ำหนึ่งใจเดียวกัน Across the ocean, united as one. As one, we can create a brighter future.
APEC 2022 Thailand.
See you soon.